Are we getting 4K? Lead and Iron just sent me a message. Me to your title. I sleep in a big bed with my wife. Oh, man. Happy some kind of day. Hope you like the sweater. I never wear this, and if you ask, I'll explain why I never wear this out of the house. Something really funny happened something I noticed anyway. I see it's set. I'm fighting with the YouTube dashboard. This is so funny. Here, let's do one of these. Hit cut. We're gonna go over to my desktop, and you can see that it wants me to connect my encoder to go live. YouTube, I am live. This is so stupid. This is so incredibly dumb. Oh my god, hang on. Let me actually show you what I'm talking about. It would help if I hit switch. Yeah. Connect your encoder to go live. I'm live. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is so stupid. If you're in the chat, I see it says allegedly there's 4 people in here. I don't know if that's true or not, so let me know. Shoot a comment. Let's talk. Oh my god, Lead and Iron. Number 1. It's Catterday. You know it. Yeah. It's not stream appropriate, but I've seen some memes about Valentine's Day and cat people. And I'm going to leave it there. It's pretty awkward, to say the least. Thought I'd jump on. As a single male, it's a day. I don't really care. The reason I'm jumping on today actually had nothing to do with Valentine's Day. I have a busy work schedule, and normally I take Sundays off, but I'm working like straight through Sunday to Sunday this next week, so I'm not going to have time to stream tomorrow. I don't think that this is a scheduled thing that I'm doing every week, but it just felt good to stream on my day off. So I figured, you know what? We'll jump on for like half hour, an hour, 2 hours, 6 hours. Who the hell knows? Yeah. Lead and Iron. What's popping? We were talking earlier actually about a YouTube video that I sent him regarding authenticity in the YouTube space. It was a creator who specializes in like office chairs. And I've never seen this creator before, but did like this whole like bordering on Gamers Nexus type of I guess in-depth coverage of scammy practices on YouTube. And one of the creators that he mentioned is actually relatively close to where I am. What was it? Mark Moniz, I think his name is. Yeah. I don't know if you're in the stream. I'm sure Lead and Iron is, unless he just commented and bailed, which he could have very well. Jerk. Do you know, like, when you watch a YouTuber after like a video or two, can you tell, like, do you get that feeling that they're like a sleazebag? And I ask this because I always have that alarm Like, it's funny because the YouTubers that this creator mentioned, I actually, for the most part, most of them that I've seen, if I'm being honest, um, I literally would just say don't recommend channel. There's a few of them. Some because they're just outright annoying, and Lead and Iron knows who I'm talking about. There's two that we talk about all the time. Speaking of Lead and Iron, he says, I don't ever want to be a shill for anybody. Money isn't more important than the truth. That is very true. Yeah, like my latest video on Elgato Prompter versus Prompter XL, it has a whopping 80 views on it. It's amazing. I don't care. Like, actually, if Lead and Iron, while you're here, I'll tell you this story. I got a nice comment on Reddit this morning because I threw the videos into this Elgato subreddit, and what I did was I why am I stuttering? Well, what's up with me today? Anyway, I threw the videos in the subreddit, but I didn't throw it to promote them. See, Elgato commented on a video I did back in July saying that they're taking my issue very seriously, and then just bailed. So I wrote this post saying, like, look, I think Elgato Prompter and Prompter XL has the potential to be like really good products. Like, but the fact that you've spent more marketing money on promoting the prompter and promoting voice sync, which is like their what did they call it? What did Steggy call it? The value added feature. I can't remember how he worded it. I put it in one of the prompter videos in my intro that everybody skipped. Anyway, I they promote voice sync and it's trash. And anyway, somebody commented. I laughed. I read it and I was like, really? This is the first thing I'm reading this morning? And they wrote like, oh, good, you're just here to promote your videos. And I was like, you didn't even read. Like, you didn't do any research on this topic because it's a known fact that Prompter and Prompter XL have problems with voice sync. Now, I don't normally do this, but something told me to click on this person's profile, which I did. So sorry, I'm going to cut myself off here. Lead and Iron wrote, quote, we're taking your issue very seriously, end quote. Last online 6,654 days ago. That's amazing. That is funny. I'm trying to send a laugh, and I don't know, YouTube's UI confuses me. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I decided to check this person's profile, which I don't normally do. But I noticed that like a year ago in the Elgato subreddit, this person was like, Elgato, could we collaborate? And I'm like, oh boy. And they had like YouTube links. So I checked out their channel. And I don't know the polite way to say this. But, and not to be cocky, because, God, who the hell am I? I'm a guy who pushes buttons and, you know, tries to make YouTube videos here and there. But like, this person isn't great at what they do. And I think they're feeling sour grapes because like I put a lot of effort into my videos because I know, like, look, this is the cocky side. I know my videos play well in terms of editing and all that. Like, I spent Lead and Iron is probably the person in the front row seat of like my journey. I have spent a ton of money, a ton of time. There are things that you all will never see, struggles and like all sorts that I've gone through to try to get this channel up and running. And like, I want to have fun with it. So I kind of laughed at this person because I was like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing. Your butt hurt. So I just replied with, no, I'm not just trying to get views. Like, if you've done like a second of research, you would know that there's problems with this. And the only reason I'm putting this in here is because legitimately, Elgato, this could be a good product, but you're effing the dog. So yeah, that was this morning. And I was just like, whatever about it. I was like, I'm going to go have a coffee and just chill out and watch YouTube. And then I stumbled on this video with this guy who was like, hey, I'm going to name the creators that he mentioned, and I'll even put the link in the chat for the video because I thought the video was very well done. He mentioned, oh yeah, I already mentioned one of them, Mark Moniz, your average consumer. Okay. I've had opinions about your average consumer for a while. The problem I have with your average consumer is the hypocrisy of the name of the channel because it's your average consumer. Dude, you are not our average consumer, okay? I like look, I make pretty decent money. Um but the stuff that you are being the average consumer about is definitely not within my realm of expendable income. So, there's that. Yeah, see, lead and iron gets the point, and this is the thing. This is what I want to talk about. Some of the content creation stuff, because I'm a small creator, right? Lead and Iron's also a small creator. Check him out, by the way. Like he goes deep, and he gets pretty mad at some of these brands when they fail to promise stuff, but it's all in very, very, very detailed oriented thinking with Lead and Iron, which is awesome. Um, yeah, he wrote, "It's hard. I tell people, quote, if I didn't love this, I would have quit 2 years ago." Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I definitely feel the same way. Like, some might have thought that I quit because I wasn't posting regularly, which I changed in January, or like starting at the end of December, I started to post more. So, and I'm doing this live stream thing, which is always fun and interesting. 6 people watching. Yo, if you're watching, oh yeah, to my friends, I need to say this. They're gonna get pissed when I say this, but I don't effing care. Don't just leave the stream running and not say anything. Like, you're better not watching, to be completely honest, because that actually algorithmically hurts the channel. If you jump into somebody's live stream and you just kind of leave it sitting there, YouTube just assumes that, oh, like, and if, especially if it's the same people, and I'm referring to a few people specifically who I've talked to who've told me outright, like, yeah, I just leave it running. I'm like, don't do that, because that doesn't help me. Like, if I see 5 people, yeah, look, somebody probably jumped off because I said that. Yeah, F you too. No. If I see 5 people watching, but like one person commenting, which is literally what's happening right now, that doesn't help anything. I don't give a, I'm going to cuss, F it. I don't give a shit if I have high numbers. I don't effing care about metrics. I don't care. Okay? I don't care if my video gets 1 million views or 10 views. That doesn't bother me. Okay? If you're gonna support, yeah, like, don't lurk. Exactly. Lead and Iron said it best. Like, damn Twitch and their lurk. Please don't lurk. Because I would rather have engaging conversations. And if that engaging conversation is with one person, cool. But then, like, why are the other 5 here watching if they're not gonna talk? Or if they're not gonna say anything? It costs you nothing to chat. And unless you're not signed into your Google account, which, okay, fine, sure. But, like, if you're my friend and, like, you're gonna, like, support, it's like, okay, I had to explain this to my mother. This was funny. We were having breakfast and I told her, like, listen, you don't have to watch all my videos. I know that they're like, and people do this. They'll jump on, like, Facebook because their kid puts, like, a YouTube channel out and says, go check out my kid's channel. And the kid's like, I make Minecraft videos. And I'm like, I don't play video games. But you know what? I'll help the kid out. I'll watch the video. That does nothing. That actually hurts the kids. Like, these algorithms are made to try to be engaging. So if you're not into my content, I'm not going to be hurt by it. I don't care. Okay? For those who don't know, I was a DJ for 28 years. I was on the radio for like a good percentage of that. And I have a pretty big following on other social media platforms. I don't post Tech Mixer there. I might put up a story, but I don't put up like full posts because out of those thousands of people, nobody cares. And I'm okay. Like, I'm cool with that. When I was on the radio doing live to air and people were like, oh, yeah. And the people would say to me like, oh, I don't listen to radio because radio's dead. That's what they would say. I have opinions on radio. We're not going to talk about that today, but I didn't care. You grow a thick skin. So, like, don't feel like you're supporting me by clicking. Like, F off. Okay. Like, if you're into tech and you're my friend, just say something or don't click. I don't know. If you're not into tech and you're watching this, why the hell are you watching this? That, like, it blows my mind. And I think that what people don't understand is, like, people have this view of social media that, like, it's this validation chasing thing where you need, like, I need to have 10,000 people like my stuff. And so I could like throw up peace signs with my tongue out. Not making fun of other creators, but that is kind of a thing. But I don't care. Like, that's not the engagement. That's not what this channel's about. That's not what I'm about. That's not what YouTube is about. YouTube is about engaging conversations. See, and I saw the number now, it went down to 4 watching. That's a good thing. Because if you're not into this type of content, leave. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk, and I'm not saying that to be like, oh, well, whatever about it. I'm saying that because I want to have meaningful conversations about the topic that this channel covers, right? And if we happen to pivot off into like randomness, then sure. But like, I want like-minded people within this niche to, you know, be here. I have my phone in Do Not Disturb. I'm wondering if I'm getting messages from friends saying, bro, like, you're going to kill yourself on the stream. You're going to hurt your metrics, which, like, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, so that was an interesting thing this morning to see that video, because he called out these creators and he basically accused them of view botting, which is like where you buy views. I know some people who do that. It's dumb. It's so stupid. Like, the only thing you're hurting is your long-term growth, right? I am very happy to have an honest video with 70, 80 views. That doesn't bother me. In fact, here, you know what? Let's do something interesting here. Let me see if I'm not going to dox myself in this. I'm on my iPad, which I do have connected here. Go to overview. All right. I'm going to show you guys something really funny, and also how broken the iPad actually can be. All right, so these are the metrics on the latest video, okay? And this is something people don't typically show. Maybe the stream is gonna get cut because I'm showing this. I don't care. Average view duration is 3 minutes and 48 seconds. So for those who don't understand what that means, average view duration is the average duration in which the video was viewed. And that sounds like a simple metric, but it's a little more complicated than that. Basically, you know, this would be easier if YouTube's chat on the desktop was actually working, but it doesn't show any chats. Let me try this again. Live chat. Nope. It's inherently broken. Maybe it wants me to install Chrome. We're not doing that. Anyway, so the video is 8 minutes and 50 seconds long. It's only got 81 views. It's got a click-through rate of like 2.6%, which is not great, but I mean, it's a niche topic, and you know, but if I click on video performance, this is interesting. This line right here that I can't really, I can scrub it here. Yeah. This is the point. The people who watched to the very end, I had like 34%, 31% of people still watching by the very end. And what I find very interesting about that is at the end of the day, those are engaged viewers, and that's what I want. That's the whole point. I would love a debate. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to get to Lead and Iron. I'm going to get to you in a second. The thing is, like, that I just showed the retention metrics, and that's what you want. Like, you want people who are into what you're doing. And I try to make authentic content from my viewpoint. I may not have everybody's viewpoint, but I have my viewpoint. That's what I can speak from, and whatever. So Lead and Iron says, I would love a debate with someone who doesn't love tech. It's 2 points of view that would be interesting on both sides. Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be pretty cool, like, in terms of, especially in terms of content creation. Because in terms of content creation, everybody's like, oh yeah, well, I Lead and Iron, we talk like on a semi-daily basis. There are people, and we all know them, who say, oh, making YouTube's easy. And then they virtue signal about how they work hard. It's like, you have no idea, like, how hard getting into this is. This isn't pick up your phone and be like, hey guys, that's what like media makes it look like. And maybe that's how it was in like the early 2010s era of like getting into content creation, like when iJustine was popular at the beginning and Marquez had first came out and stuff like that. Sure, it's not that easy. It's, if anything, it's probably harder than anything at the moment. Like I saw I can't remember if it was like 2 weeks ago on Linus Tech Tips on their WAN show. They were talking about OnlyFans creators, and like the ones who are like in the top 1% are making like $100 a month, because like to get there is a lot of work, but then to get to where the people make the absolute most money is like the 0.001%. So like that curve of revenue is like, it spikes, like it's insane, but yeah, it's not, I think a lot of people who are not in tech don't understand that. So anyway, TLDR, if you are a friend of mine and you're watching this and you have no idea what the tech is about, just don't watch the video. and like, my mom wants to watch them because it's not about supporting me. She doesn't understand that. Like, she understands tech, but not to the level that my audience that I'm trying to aim at. It's not at that level. You know what I mean? So she'll watch, but I think she wants to see the evolution of like my journey more than supporting me, because I think she knows that like there is an audience. At least I hope there's an audience. There's an audience of people that want to see this type of content. So that's kind of why I don't mind if she watches, right? But like if my auntie in Guyana is watching and has no clue what's going on, she's going to be like, oh, what do you ask this? And just shut it off. So it's, it's a whole thing. For those who don't know, yes, I'm Guyanese. Yeah. 3 people watching. Yep. Those were people who have no intention to comment and just got butthurt by what I said. The people who left anyway. So I have 3 hopefully engaged people. Watch, YouTube's going to be like -5 people watching, which is impossible, but whatever. So does anybody else want to say anything? Like, don't come in and thumb up the video too and just leave. Or just, okay, sorry. I should amend that a little bit. If you are into tech and you're watching this and you're doing something that like where it's not like feasible or safe, like say driving, fine. I'm okay with that. Like I can understand that. But yeah, news streaming, not great. I honestly thought doing the Valentine's Day thing would be hilarious. I didn't plan this in this way. This was a scheduling thing from my end. I just figured it would be funny because like most tech people I know are single or single adjacent, if that sentence even makes sense. I don't know. Anybody else want to say anything? Because if not, I'll probably jump off in a few minutes because I'm not going to like monopolize my one day off. Yeah. I don't know. Let an iron. Pick a topic. While we wait to see if people come in or engage. Because it says 3 people are watching and only 1 is commenting. And that 1 person might have actually left already. So. Let's see. Let's see here. By the way, Lead and Iron, seeing as you're the only one that seems to want to comment. Oh, you know what could be happening? You could be commenting, but YouTube might be broken. It did this before. Close the stream on the iPad. Wait a few seconds. There's probably nobody commenting. Let's see. Let's see here. Nope, nobody's commenting. Lead and Iron, pick a topic. And also, iPad issues because I have an iPad Pro and it's amazing, but ass at the same time. Yeah. By the way, I was going to ask you, how is my mic and my video quality? If it's terrible, send me a super chat. If it's awful, leave the stream. See, I'm just trying to sabotage myself entirely here. Let's see. One day I'm going to investigate this dashboard thing. Because I've tried with Firefox. I've tried with Microsoft Edge. Just based on my past experience with Google Chrome, I will not install Google Chrome on this computer. So I'm not installing Chrome. If that's the way I have to look at YouTube chat, that is nonsense. And a monopolistic practice, Google. So yeah, you might want to look into that. Okay, here's a topic that I'm going to bring up. Cell phones. So for those who've been on this channel before, you know I've covered Bell Fiber to the Home. I don't want to talk networking, by the way. Not today. Not today. Too much MTU. Not enough love. Oh my God, that was corny. Anyway, I was on Bell for my my home internet, which I still am. And I have the app TV. And I had my cell phones, and I say that in past tense, had. I just switched my cell phones to Rogers because Bell decided to jack my bill by like I was actually telling Eamon on PC that it was $17. I had that wrong. It was $27 per line. So I have my line and I have my mom's line on that bill. And when I got my bill, I was like, what the hell is this? And yeah, I was able to get a new deal from Rogers for a ton of data that's shareable. And you could easily find this. I don't know if I want to really say how to do it. It's not like shady. It's just it's a very interesting deal. It's a benefit of having a certain membership. So let's see if you can read between the lines there. But yeah, I switched and there was a couple things I noticed off the hop. One is the Wi-Fi calling thing. If you've ever had to rely on Wi-Fi calling because say like you live on a lower level somewhere or the reception just in your house in general compared to the outside like is terrible, your phone would kick in the Wi-Fi calling. Well, what I realized early on, because before I was on Bell, I was on Fido in Canada. And Fido is, as you may or may not know, is owned by Rogers. And I remembered when I got fiber to the home, I hadn't switched my cell phone yet. And the Wi-Fi calling would always stay on, like consistently. Actually, when I was on Rogers cable, it did that too. But the Wi-Fi calling would stick. When I switched my phone to Bell, it would barely connect to Wi-Fi calling. And I was like, oh my, and then I had this thought of like, wait a minute, is Wi-Fi calling established by the cell carrier? Which is kind of weird when you think about it because it's Wi-Fi calling, but it kind of makes sense because you have to do your 911 calls and all that stuff through your cell carrier, right? So yeah, it turns out that Bell's profile for Wi-Fi calling is just awful. I would brute force it. So the way to brute force Wi-Fi calling, if it's already enabled and it's not engaging, what you do is, at least on iPhone, is I would just put the phone in airplane mode and then turn on Wi-Fi. And then I would get the Bell Wi-Fi thing come up and then I would just turn off airplane mode. But then it would just randomly kick out. Like I've been on important calls and it just kicks out and the call disconnects. Or it gets really choppy and that's annoying. But like right now, like if I were to, let's see, is this going to work today? Looks like. Yeah, you can see we've got Rogers Wi-Fi, even though I am on a Bell service. It doesn't actually matter which home internet provider you have because Wi-Fi calling will kick on if you're at somebody's house and you're on their Wi-Fi. Your Rogers Wi-Fi would kick on, but that is awesome. The other thing I noticed, and I can't say where I'm going, not yet. Maybe in the future I'll talk about this, but there's a place I have to go like twice a week. Lednier knows where. And it's somewhere that there is no reception. At least I thought there was no reception. So I've had to go there for about 2 years. And every time I tried to use Wi-Fi, there's not Wi-Fi, sorry, data, like cellular data, it would just fail. I would get SOS signals. I've like just all sorts. Like my phone just wouldn't have it. But the thing is, I've been going there for 2 years, but I've been on Bell Mobility for longer than that. So I switched to Rogers this past week and I went to this place and I now have Wi-Fi access there, which is awesome. However, I switched off Wi-Fi and I'm like, oh, I've got 5G, like full signal. And I was getting like 300 megabit. So Bell, like, what are you doing? Like, if you look at the map in the town that I live in, there are cellular towers for both providers, like all over the place. But some of these towers are damaged and they're not being maintained. And yeah, I don't know which regulatory body I have to go after because these companies have received complaints about coverage in this area and have publicly admitted, according to neighbors in those areas, that they've been told that, oh yeah, they've been broken for years due to a storm. And if they decide to fix it, then it may not happen for a while. Like I know for a fact that one of the Rogers towers near my mother's place has been gone for at least 5 years, and then the Bell towers, it's kind of the same story, but there are Bell and Rogers towers near her place. But, the problem is you can complain to the moon, but these companies aren't going to do anything until they're legally obligated to, which is, I hate to say it, but it's why we have to go after them via other channels. So I don't know if it's the CRTC or some other regulatory body. I don't know. Okay, we got 2 watching. So I clearly pissed off the other 4. They were probably friends that came in, liked, and left. That is what it is. Yeah, I'm probably going to jump off in a couple of minutes because, yeah, if it's not going to be much of a conversation, then I don't know who I'm streaming to. But I just thought I would jump on because I'm going to be super busy. I know Sunday was probably the better day to do it, but I'm not going to have time. So I figured I would just jump in and, yeah. Or maybe people aren't jumping in because they're butthurt by the title and thumbnail of this video. Whatever. I'll tell a quick story about the shirt. This No Heart Retro Kid shirt. This is funny, and I bought it because I thought it was funny. But then I was at a mall, and you know, in some of the malls they have like those big mirrors, and I was walking past, and I was wearing the sweater, and I kind of glimpsed at the mirror, and then I was like, wait a minute. And I kind of looked at the mirror, and I'm like, hold on a second. It doesn't look like No Heart. It looks like No Fart, like NOH fart. Now you can't unsee that because now I can't unsee that. And I was like, God damn, am I walking around with a shirt that says No Fart? Because I remember a few, like, sometimes you get people like, I'll wear like the Pokeroo shirt and I'll be like, oh, Pokeroo, I love that. Or the Video and Arcade hoodie. And it's like, oh, I remember that show. And it's like, fun fact, I was on that when I was a kid. But the thing is, I wore this and I remember like getting looks from people. And then I like later, after like days later, I'm like, oh my God, did they think that my shirt said No Fart? Because people are like, they don't understand that this is a Care Bears reference, like No Heart. So, yeah. Let's refresh this and see if YouTube is legitimately broken or if nobody wants to be my friend. On Valentine's Day? How dare you people? I know right now Josh heard that and he's like, who are you calling you people? Joshua Lead and Iron. 5 likes. Okay. So 1 viewer, unless they're using multiple accounts, can't just randomly upload the video. Say something. If you're able to thumb a video up, you should be able to comment. And if you're driving and thumbing videos up, don't do that. That's dangerous. Or I can go full conspiracy and say that YouTube has suppressed me because my last video is getting no views and nobody's jumping on my live stream. I see 4 people watching now, which means it's probably the same people coming back to see, like, has he shut the hell up yet about, like... No, I have not shut the hell up about engagement. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll jump off in, like, 5 minutes. If a conversation doesn't start, then I'm just going to take off. I'll probably unlist this stream because, like, it's literally a stream about nothing at this point. Yeah. Lead and Iron, you still there, or are you, let's see. Damn, I was all excited. The first 2 streams I did, I actually had some good engagement and people talking. Or maybe it's people who jumped in and they're like, oh, he's not going to talk about networking. I don't want to be here because, like, a lot of this channel was based on fiber to the home stuff. Although I did just talk about cell phone coverage and how Roger seems to have it all figured out, which is a very weird thing to say. I don't know. If you're watching this and you're on, like, one of the bigger providers and you have cell issues, like, in certain areas, let me know. Because that's a video that once I figure out how to make a thumbnail that people click on, I know how to make a video that people can stay watching, which is cool, like, as long as you're within the niche. But Apple ecosystem, or as Lead and Iron put it, Ape Eco. Yes, there we go. Apple ecosystem. Yeah, if I can get my thumbnails and all that to be, like, clickable, a video I really want to make is the state of cellular coverage in very populated areas. Like, for example, if you live in Ontario, you know that Mississauga is a very densely packed area. I had a situation back in the summer where I could not get coverage on Bell to save my life. 5G LTE. The phone was reverting to 3G, even though allegedly 3G was like discontinued. That's super weird. Okay, so let's talk Apple ecosystem. Part of this is because of a conversation I had with Lead and Iron fairly recently. So this thing is being dragged by my Wavelink USB-C hub. Yeah, I've got the Wavelink USB-C hub that's feeding HDMI out and power and to my iPad Pro. This thing is interesting. I love the cohesiveness, like, you know, all the Apple standard gestures that you get by using an iPad. That is kind of cool, right? But there are things on this iPad that are pretty broken. Like here, if I go back to YouTube Studio, if I were to go here and I were to click on, we'll just go back to the same prompter video. Look at this. What happened? There's my metrics and they're gone. There are my metrics and they're gone. So you have to like quickly jump in, and that's not what I wanted. So now I'll go back. Oh yeah, there it is right there. It's doing it now. If you look at the top left, you can see it's flashing because I'm trying to go back and I think the app just crashed. So that's fun. Whoops, let's not dox myself. One moment, please. I'm actually going to switch back to my main camera and close the apps that I'm not using so I don't fully dox myself. Yeah, I'm probably going to unlist this video because I may have shown something personal. Yeah, how Android is actually starting to invade. Yeah, I haven't looked much into it, but like I know that about a month ago they figured out AirDrop, which is very interesting. You know who has a good ecosystem, surprisingly, and unfortunately, like in North America, we just don't have access to them, is Huawei. The stuff you can do between Huawei devices is pretty sick from what I've seen. I think our favorite Marquez Brownlee did a whole video about it, but I know Mr. Who's the Boss did. Both of those YouTubers are very interesting. That's the word I'm going to use. But yeah, I've seen videos on Huawei as an ecosystem and how they're basically like they're running things, but the problem is that North America has like no use for Huawei because of the ban. If you've been on the live stream before, you know that for some reason this key light always makes me really tired and it drives me nuts. Don't know why it turns into yawn fest. And I've had enough coffee today and I got enough sleep, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, the Apple ecosystem is interesting. Again, not a fan of some of the weird choices they made with the iPad Pro. Like, no, I'm not signed into iCloud with this MacBook at the moment because I'm live streaming and I do this to... It's like one device, literally, referring to Huawei. Actually, no, Lead and Iron, they have like a tablet, they got a phone, and I think they have like thermostats and stuff like that. They've got cameras, they've got a bunch of stuff, but apparently the way it all works together is really nice. I actually saw on Reddit, this is another... Yeah, so in the Apple ecosystem, there's an app that somebody made called Droppy. It's a paid app, but it basically, like, it's kind of the way that the notch works on the iPhone with the dynamic island, but it does like a whole bunch of really cool bolt-on like interface access. So like you can see your AirPods in terms of percentage. You can see like you can do. It has a clipboard manager. It can do things like it could run like terminal scripts. You could like pull text out of images. You can convert images. You can encode video. Like, it's kind of sweet, but I think it's $699, probably US dollars. So, $7,000 Canadian. It's like a whole thing. No, it's like one device, but on different devices. Okay, so Lead and Iron. So I don't know what you're referring to then. Text me a link, because if you throw a link in the chat, it's basically YouTube's gonna cry. Yeah, send me a link and then I can like kind of look this up. I should have made the thumbnail, don't thumb up and leave. Yeah, because you're the, like, Lead and Iron, you're the only one talking, and everybody's like, yeah. I'll turn my iPhone volume down. I want to check something. I want to see if I switch accounts on my YouTube, is it going to show the live stream? Yep. Oh, apparently on my other YouTube account, this is kind of cool. It comes up as YouTube featured. What the hell is YouTube featured? I don't even know what the hell that means. That's it's kind of crazy. Don't forget you're a standard. Yeah. Oh, yes, I know. So it's me. So it's you. I don't follow. Lead and Iron, you said, I'm hurting my click-through rate on some of my lower viewed videos by scrolling on my alt YouTube account. But that's okay. We're going to switch it back to TechMixer, because that's what I use on my phone typically. The more you know. I don't know what you're referring to when you said, so it's me. There might be like a crazy delay in terms of what's being served out, because I can't stream in low latency mode and still get 4K. I miss the days when you could just like click on quality on the phone and just choose 4K and not have to hit like advanced and all this other stuff. First world problem, I'm aware, but yeah, you are the only one chatting. Legitimate. Yeah, Lead and Iron, you're the only one chatting. Like, honestly, I could just FaceTime you and just end the stream, because, you know, people are coming in and thumbing the video up, but nobody is saying anything. So it's like, well, okay, what like, you ever just want to like look at people and be like, so you thumbed it up? Yeah, I thumbed it up. But what did you like about it? Oh. I'm the catalyst causing the stream to die. The chosen one. Yeah, seriously, because you weren't on the last two. Or if you were like incognito about it. You lurk. And yeah, I had like active conversations. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Oh yeah, back to Apple ecosystem stuff. And oh my god, it's... Okay, so it did take the screenshot. Cool. So one of the weird quirks on the iPad is if you have the keyboard and mouse, if you have a Mac, you know that Command Q is how you close, like completely, utterly close an app on Mac. And if you hit Command W, it will close the active window for the most part, unless the developer made it different. But then the app is still actually running in the background. So they implemented those shortcuts in the iPad OS. But the problem is they're in reverse for some stupid reason. And I am honestly of the belief that it was a complete mistake. I don't think it was intentionally made like that. So like if you Command Q, it will close the app, but it's still running in the background. If you Command W, it will close the app entirely, which is the complete opposite of what Mac OS does. And the reason I truly believe this is a like a misstep from a developer is because that's all good until you open Safari, and then in Safari I think it's the correct behavior. No, I'm not gonna pull up the keyboard, because I'm gonna end the stream very shortly, because if I FaceTime Lead and Iron, I will actually have a conversation back with somebody. And this isn't sour grapes. I'm just like, it's annoying to see the thumbs up counter go up, but like nobody's saying anything outside of Lead and Iron. And that's got to be exhausting for Lead and Iron, because it's like, bro, like, he's got to be sitting there going like, dude, don't rely on me to keep your stream alive. Like, and I get that. I'm going to be obnoxious. I'm going to upvote my own stream. There we go. Done. Hey, Michael Cunningham. Is it Michael O. Cunningham? Or what's your camera setup? Okay. We're having a conversation. You came in at just the right time, by the way, because I was gonna legit just end the stream because I was like, yeah, this is annoying. Hi there. What's your camera setup? I am using a Lumix S5 II, non-X, just S5 II. I have a LUT that I created in Color Finale Pro for Final Cut Pro, and I loaded my Atomos Shogun Ultra. I have two of these, so this is what it looks like. And then on the back, let's switch. My overhead camera is a GH5 Mark II, but on the back, you got NP support, and then you've got two HDMIs. So I've got my input coming from the camera, which is getting a raw input from the S5 II. And then my out is going into the Camlink 4K, if I can show that on screen. And then I have the LUT coming out of the camera directly into OBS. So hope that helps. And then more of what I'm doing, like, let me be clear. If Michael Cunningham, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. If it's like Mikolo Cunningham, that sounds very culturally ambiguous. So I'm pretty sure it's Michael Cunningham. But if you are just starting out, I'm gonna ask you, are you like into this? Oops. Oh, oops. My eyes, great. Dope. Another Lumix and Atomos creator. Yeah, I'm trying. It's Atomos is super overkill for what I'm doing. I also use the. Somebody asked me what this blue thing was. I have another Lumix camera here. This is my another S5 II that I use. This is a whole story for another day. And I have this lens gear from followfocusgears.com, not sponsored, but I added the O since it was taken already. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's Michael Cunningham. Got it. Okay. So, I use the Edelkrone jib system because apparently I'm a masochist. I think that's the right terminology I'm looking for. You can make solid, crazy B-roll, but you have to basically sell your soul to, like, the corner of some busy street to get it to work because holy crap, Edelkrone is so bad in so many ways, but it makes such great shots, but it's such a hassle. And I want to do a video about it, but I can't because if I do it, I'll probably break the Edelkrone setup to make that video. But part of what I want to say in that video is how bad Edelkrone is, so it's almost worth breaking the setup. But if I break the setup, I spent so much money on the setup. Anyway, yeah, I use Edelkrone to do B-roll in my videos. No, that's the thing. Oh, Edelkrone, you got money. I don't. I actually don't. Yeah, I don't have any kidneys left. I've sold them both. Oh, now I feel bad. I'm neglecting lead and iron because somebody new came in the chat. See that, lead and iron? Now somebody new, and it's like it's shiny days. Like a new person came in. Out with the old. I'm playing. Lead and iron, please don't block me. Yeah, no. Regarding Edelkrone, I don't have money. I have bad decision making. That's what I do. I found your video literally just a minute ago and saw you were live. Which video did you find out of curiosity? Okay, so YouTube is still serving it. I'm not shadow banned. I don't think that there is really a shadow ban thing unless you do stupidness on YouTube, but I don't believe in the shadow ban thing. But I'm curious, what video did you find? By the way, I don't know if this is coming through on camera. I haven't really told anybody this. There's a twitch that's been happening in this eye for the last like couple, probably almost a week. It's subtle, but I don't know if that's showing up on camera. So if I'm like going crazy, then whatever. This live stream was not like overly planned. Like I made the thumbnail super quick and then I hit go live. So there was that. Don't mind me checking my phone. I have it in do not disturb. And yep, there was a text I was waiting for. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm curious which video you found. Very, very curious. Yeah, I just made the thumbnail and just jumped on. I was looking into the Elgato Prompter XL. I've had the prompter for a while, but now the small screen is a little too small. Yeah. That's literally why I bought it. So which XL video did you see? So there's two of them. I put one up this past Tuesday. I got a twitch on my left eye too, no joke. I wonder if it's like weather related. I don't even know where you are, or if it's like seasonal or something to do with Valentine's Day coming up. Thus the no heart. Get it? Because I'm like trying to be funny. No. Yeah, I don't know which prompter video you saw. Did you see the XL versus original, or did you see the I'm a Sucker for Punishment episode 2? That I love that video. Although everybody skipped my intro thing, that I literally started the video by saying that I have no effing sympathy for you if you skip the intro. And then I looked at my retention graph and I was like, oh, and everybody skipped it. Well, damn. Prompter makes me so mad. I watched the review video first. Okay, so Sucker for Punishment. Got it. Okay. Prompter makes me so mad. Yeah, Lead and Iron. So I don't know if I've told Lead and Iron this. I just loaded up the comparison video. Yeah, that one I just posted. It's getting no views. It's fantastic. Shout out to being a creator. I try to marry really good editing with my concepts because like I try to be brutally honest. I was gonna say, so Lead and Iron, he knows on some level if I haven't told him outright. Part of why I'm making this is because I feel like a piece of crap because I convinced Lead and Iron to spend his hard-earned money on Prompter. And then Prompter essentially was like, get effed. Like the way that it acts like with voice sync. My initial setup was a Glide Gear 100 with a... You know what? That's a respectable with a Lillipod. I'm assuming Lillipod 11-inch monitor. Lilliput. Yeah, I have like a, what is it? An an Aperture, like really cheap monitor I got off Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I've bought a lot of equipment with very little to no return on this investment. So, get effed Tech Mixer is kind of what's happening. I make my own bad decisions. Yeah, Lead and Iron. He gets it. Listen, we have a support group, right? So Michael Cunningham, if you want to join in on the support group, we meet up like usually at least once a week, mostly on Thursdays for some reason, on FaceTime if you're an Apple person. And we just talk about our bad decisions. It's me and Lead and Iron. We're just like we're close friends, so we talk about our terrible decisions. Let's see. My initial setup was Glide Gear 100 with Lilliput. Which computer are you plugging Prompter into? And pardon me while I take a sip of my water because it's dry out in Canada. And this isn't Canada Dry. That was awful. Yeah, I'm curious which, let's see. Voice sync on the Prompter is trash. I just use the Elgato pedal to go through the chapters in the Prompter app. Okay. Windows or Mac? Or Linux? Or I don't know. I think Android works with Display Link. I know iOS doesn't and iPad OS doesn't. Yes, I can join. What's the link to the meeting? Misery loves company. Exactly. Hang on. I'm curious. I just want to see something here. All right, I am checking it. You know what? Here, let's check this out together. You know what? Michael Cunningham had the guts to jump on and have a conversation. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to check out your channel together. I'm not going to click on any videos because I don't want to hurt any of your retention metrics and stuff like that. What I am going to do is I'm going to take out my mug from the bottom right because we already see it here. There we go. Okay, so I help entrepreneurs, course creators, and coaches build businesses around the lifestyle they want by offering transformation to their audience through online courses and programs. That's pretty dope. Okay, so you got a whole thing going here. Nice. Okay, so you got a little bit of content, which is good. Okay, cool. I'm going to guess that I see you haven't posted a ton in terms of long form recently. But if I had to wager a guess, if I'm being honest, part of it might have something to do with how bad Prompter is. I'm just guessing outright here. Let me bring back the chat. I don't care about retention at the moment. Yeah, you're on Mac OS. So Apple Silicon Mac OS or Intel? Just out of curiosity, because um I'm using PromptSmart Pro. If you haven't seen in the other videos, I use that to do voice sync because it is incredible. Um, at least for English speakers, it's incredible. Like that's prompter had no say in my upload inconsistency. Oh, okay, so you just like misery like I did. Just life gets in the way, or M2 chip. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you could run iPad apps. I highly love PromptSmart Pro. Um, Prompter XL, one of the benefits, and I downplay it in the videos because I'm gonna be completely transparent. It's a pain in the ass to show this, but the screen real estate is probably my favorite thing. And I'm not talking about the physical dimensions. I'm talking about the 1080, the 1920 by 1080 resolution on Prompter XL is my favorite part about it, because with the old prompter, the low resolution made it like it was impossible to scale things properly. Where on XL, you can drag the iPad over and like resize it to fit the framing of your camera. And then one of the problems with Prompter XL is that you might look like I'm using a 50 mil lens, and even with a 50 mil, if I have the script rather too far apart, it looks like my eyes are tracking like this. Like even if like I'm keeping my head still, you can kind of see it. Where when you have the better real estate, you can like resize it to like get around the lens of your camera, and then you can read it clearly still and look like you're looking directly at it. I tried PromptSmart. It's good for the voice sync, but I like the Elgato ecosystem. Got a Stream Deck and all that, and Elgato 4K. It works well. I don't need voice sync now that I have the pedal. Okay, that's fair. I can appreciate that. Yeah, you know what the thing is? Camera Hub, I don't like the way it puts in scripts. I had somebody on Reddit reached out um about the script inputting, because I don't like using, I'm not a fan of Camera Hub. It's a personal preference thing. It's because the way the script gets interfaced, like it does it in chunks. Yeah, see, Lead and Iron, yeah. Oh, Lead and Iron says, Michael Cunningham, I was thinking of a pedal. It works good, huh? I've heard the pedal's good. I think I was so mad with the first prompter and voice sync's problems that I was debating buying the pedal, but I was like, I'm better putting that money towards XL. And then I inherently knew, and I've said this, like I knew that the Prompter XL was going to be just as bad with voice sync. Like it's all the same software, right? There's going to be no difference. But I was like, you know what? I can meme on that. Like I can like literally, like I can convert that into a more plausible video. And because I was happy with voice sync in PromptSmart Pro, or whatever they call their voice track, I think they call it. I was so happy with that I was like, you know what? I'm better off buying Prompter XL. So I didn't opt for the pedal. And also, fun fact, like to make this more comfortable, I've actually got one of those like footrests off Amazon with like the little pocket you can like put your feet into, because in Canada it is balls cold right now. It's better today, but it has been not nice outside. And I'm in a basement and there's tile floor, which you may not notice because I have noise isolation on, but this is a very, very echoey space. Yeah, so if I put the pedal here, my feet would be freezing. So we're not doing that. Nah, comfort for the win. Let's see. Yeah, Michael Cunningham, let us know about the pedal though. Like every time I think of the Elgato pedal, I think of like, people who talk about like passing the lie detector test and like stabbing themselves in the foot with something in their shoe when answering questions that they need to lie about, like in the movies. So it's like, like if I had the pedal, I'd be like, hey, my name is Sean and welcome to Tech Mixer. Like I don't. That's what I think of for some stupid reason. I don't know where my brain goes half the time. Michael Cunningham, the other thing with Elgato. Oh yeah, so Michael Cunningham says it works pretty good. Yeah. I don't know why I never get the notification of these streams. Hey, Duke. I think Duke's back. What up? I don't know if it's what's the word I'm looking for? The bell icon. I think by default it sets it to personalized, but you have to set it to all. But I think that I've made that harder for people because like my content kind of pivoted away from fiber to the home Um, because that's what the majority of my subs are based on, was like fiber and Bell specifically. So you missed my whole conversation about the Rogers switch. I'm still on Bell for my home internet, but Rogers, I switched my cell phone because Bell decided to jack my bill by like $27 a month per line, and I have 2 lines. And the long and short of it is I'm paying $6 more than I was for 1 line to get 2 lines with better coverage, faster speed, and better Wi-Fi calling. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. Where did we leave off here? Yeah. So yeah, Michael Cunningham says that the pedal for Elgato works pretty good. I love the Stream Deck. I think I should show you guys the Reddit comment. F it. Let's just call people out on their stupidity. Let's see. Okay. So I posted this on Reddit. Let's switch over to iPad. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to bring my mug back because, mugs. I'm not good at the streaming thing. There we go. Okay. So, I put this post on Reddit and I was like, I want to be clear. I'm doing this because Elgato, you can be better. I honestly like this company for the things that they make, like the ideas they come up with. I've been specifically vocal about this. Elgato, you even answered my main video with a comment, blah, 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 blah. And it was basically me just ranting about the problems. And then I showed the 2 videos that we were just talking about, Michael Cunningham. And somebody comments, I had to download them. So you're just trying to promote your videos. Cool. So, of course, I reacted and was like, hey, no, I'm literally trying. I'm trying to give this company back the faith I had in them. I think that's the best way I can put this. I honestly believe that Elgato has it in them to be a way better company because they make dope things. I got the notification for the last stream like 2 hours later. Interesting. Lead and iron. Huh. I think Elgato can be such a good company because this Stream Deck, if you look at this, we're going to overhead this for a second. Look at how beat up this thing is. Like I take this thing on the road. I don't even know if I can show it on camera properly if you can see it. It is nicked up to all hell. It's got scratches all over it. When I would DJ and live stream it, I would actually bring this thing and control all my cameras with it. So it's makes you want to buy a pedal. Maybe I'll order it. See that? Michael Cunningham. Oh, one moment. Let me finish my thought. I think the Stream Deck was such a great thing. And Elgato did a really good job with it. Honestly. Like it has its problems and that's expected. But that's software. But they've been very focused on that. But Prompter, man. Their marketing is all about like this whole thing. But yet they just were like, yeah, we don't care. It'll fix itself. It's what it seems like. Okay, to the chat here. So Lead and Iron just wrote, makes me want to buy a pedal. Maybe I'll order it. Michael Cunningham, we're going to add you to the group FaceTime. And when I say group, it's me and Lead and Iron. Because we talk about our bad decision making all the time. Michael Cunningham, also, whereabouts are you? I'm asking for time zone reasons because Lead and Iron is out on the west side. Yay, west side. Oh my god, I did that on stream. I was on the west coast. I'm in Toronto, or just outside Toronto. I'm Toronto adjacent in Canada. So Lead and Iron and I are 3 hours apart. So if you're in like the United Kingdom, then we're basically like screwed. We're never gonna make this happen. I take the responsibility for bad purchases. I don't know. You're part of the group now. You were invited, and just by being invited makes you part of the group. What about Final Cut 7? Uh-oh. The reason I'm going to be off, not on stream tomorrow, is because the gentleman who just commented, Mark Harnum 2450, is going on his vacation next week. So Michael Cunningham says I'm Eastern. I go back between the US and the Caribbean. Okay, dope. Oh, interesting. Final Cut 7. Mark. Learn Final Cut 10 for the love of Christ. Like, come on, man. Like, okay. For example, I took 5 minutes to make this transition. If I switch to my overhead camera, and like, this took like no time in Final Cut 10. Once you learn it, like, once you understand the mechanics of it, it's actually like super easy. And look, I got my overhead camera, and that looks cool. But now I'm just going to switch back to my main scene. I live on a small island, Trinidad and Tobago. So, are you from Trinidad? Is your heritage from Trinidad, Michael Cunningham? And Mark, if you're seeing it says Michael O. Cunningham, he made it Michael O, as he explained earlier, because Michael Cunningham was already taken. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to assume you're originally from Trinidad. My parents are from Guyana. What plugins are you using for Final Cut Pro? The better question is, what plugins am I not using for Final Cut Pro? I use a ton. So Michael Cunningham, I can say this with all sorts of pride, being of Guyanese heritage. Trinidad! I never talk about my background, my ethnic background on this channel. But yeah, okay, cool. For those who don't understand the distinction between Trinidad and Guyana, Guyana has everything backwards. I can say that because my grandfather was Trini, so, but like everybody else is Guyanese, so yeah, we say things backwards, apparently, according to Trinidad anyway. But yeah, regarding Final Cut and back on track here. This is a niche channel, damn it. For Final Cut, I use Motion VFX before they decided to go all subscription. I'm a big advocate of the Final Cut bro, Dylan Bates. I've actually met him. I met him. I've met what's his name? Oh my god, Lee the car care, not the car care. Lee the not a car guy. I met a bunch of people who why can't I remember the guy's name? The guy who makes Command Post, Chris Hawking. Met him. I was actually at Apple a couple years ago. They had a creator summit for Final Cut, and I made the trek out to California, and that was pretty dope. So, chicken curry instead of curry chicken. See? Yep. My thing is Final Cut Pro is I have to get all these plugins to get it to do the things I need it to do, like captioning. I don't have my Dylan Bates. Dylan Bates is a friend. Love his stuff. Yeah, no, Dylan's dope. Dylan, like, I'll text Dylan. I'll be like he put up his picture-in-picture update. And I actually texted him, like, because we're on that level, but he doesn't answer. Like, he does, but he's like, the guy's busy. I get it. And he's probably like, oh god, Tech Mixer, this guy's annoying. But Dylan, I'll text him and be like, yo, like, he is the most underrated. I know he's got a lot of subs and people follow him, but he deserves more than he gets, because he doesn't need to put these updates out for free, these major updates, and yet he does. And when he does the updates to, like, his plugin system, like, my god, the stuff he puts in is incredible. Like, the amount of value he brings to Final Cut is insane. Like, just unbelievable. Like, I'm a fast editor. Like, I use Command Post and my Stream Deck. That's why this thing is so beat up. On this channel, this is the third stream I've ever done. On Twitch, on my DJ account, I streamed a little bit, but I barely use the Stream Deck. I use this for editing. I have custom shortcuts for my day gig, like my contract day gig, where I literally automate stuff with a combination of Keyboard Maestro and this thing. And yeah, I know, what the hell. Yeah, you know what? Let's text them. We'll have fun here. Where's Dylan? I just texted him recently. Michael Cunningham is in my stream right now and says, you answer him more than me. You know he's going to read this and block me, right? All in good fun, sir. Hope all is well. And I'm going to say this, don't work too hard, because I know that Dylan works his ass off. No doubt, dude really is serving the community. Honestly, if he left Final Cut Pro, I'd probably go to DaVinci. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel the same way. Lead and Iron is in the corner right now. Like, do it because he's a DaVinci editor. I know he used Final Cut for a little bit, but he's gotten very FCP drama. Yeah. Sorry, I thought of something when you wrote that. That was funny. Yeah, no, Lead and Iron would be like, yes, join the dark side. Like the second I got this iPad, he was like, you know, DaVinci's basically the same on iPad, right? And I was just like, yeah. And in my head, I'm like, F off, Lead and Iron. Don't make me switch. Because some of the stuff in DaVinci looks dope. But I am so pot committed to Final Cut. Like I have, I've made motion templates myself, like just little stupid things to make my life a little easier. Also for like my main contract gig, like I need Final Cut for a lot of reasons. I can't disclose those reasons on stream, but I definitely need to be on Final Cut. It just makes life a lot easier for that job. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So, who did I meet there? I met Brett from Brett Effects. Actually, Brett and I talk fairly often. He's not necessarily in the Bad Decisions FaceTime club that Joshua Lead and Iron and myself and now Michael Cunningham is a part of, but you know, he's there. Agreed, I'm too invested. Yeah, that's the problem. Like I have color for I don't know if I can't pull this up without doxing myself. I'm not on my typical macOS profile right now because I'm streaming and I want the ability to like screen share without doxing myself on the internet. But can I, without switching the screen, can I list my plugins folder? I might be able to. Oh, wait, it might let me. Let's go into... Sorry about the pause in... Yeah, motion templates. Okay. So I even use, like when I do the smoke effects, I use the Boris Effects, what's it called? Transition packs that I bought Continuum because I'm insane. Funny story. I'm going to tell you this one. The speed of the editing in Final Cut Pro warrants it for me. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. There is a gentleman named Nick Haraz, and he formerly was the marketing lead, I believe marketing lead. I could have that wrong. I hope I don't have that wrong. At Boris Effects. So he was also in charge of like a lot of organization behind the Final Cut Summit, the Creator Summit that they had at Apple in 2023. And I got there super early because like I was still on Eastern time. And I get there and I was like, you know what? I woke up stupid early because again, like I was still on Eastern clock. So I went to Denny's and then I went over to the conference center. And I get there and I got to meet iJustine like that morning. That was pretty cool. I got to meet a lot of people and I went solo. Like nobody came with me. And I meet Nick. So Nick and I get into this conversation and you know, I told him that back home I'm like, you know, I'm a contract video editor, but I'm also a DJ. And like I'm on radio and all this stuff. This is like years ago, mind you. So we get in this conversation and he's like, oh, well, how did that work with the pandemic? And I was like, well, where I live, which is like, you know, about an hour away from Toronto. And he's like, oh, I'm an hour away from Toronto. So we keep going down that rabbit hole of like, okay, well, I'm located, I'm not going to say where, but I'm located in, just like an hour in X direction of Toronto. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm the same thing. And I said, oh, what town do you live in? And he said the name of the town. And I was like, where do you live? Now, remember, I'm in, what is it, San Jose? Like, right? Like, I'm, 20 minutes from Cupertino, like, from Apple. And he's like, oh, I live in the city. And I'm like, wait a minute, where in the city do you live? Turns out he's, 5 blocks from my house. So we go for wings once in a blue moon. I helped him out with a project recently, but that was really funny. So, but yeah, he's no longer at Boris Effects. He's got some very cool content coming. He's doing deep dives into, this is going to sound boring and weird, but hear me out. He's doing this thing about AI. But what he's doing is it's kind of like a deep dive into the creative aspect. If you're a creator, where AI can't hurt you. and where the fear comes from. I am doing it an injustice, and I don't want to explain it like very highly because his content, like I've been watching him film this content. He actually got Prompter XL, and we're using my voice sync. Like I went over with my laptop, and he sent me a script, and it's some good stuff. I think it. I'll put it this way: part of why more content has been coming out on my channel is because of that. Like I've gone twice now to help him, and just watching him like this thing that he's written and how he's going to put that together. It kind of got me. It kind of got me like really re-inspired. I think that plus getting good sleep because Lead and Iron knows that I struggle with sleep. So does Mark. Yeah. But yeah, that's Final Cut. Like I'm so heavily invested. I was gonna mention the plugins. So I use Add Motion. I use some Bread Effects tools, Color Finale, 1, 2. I'm part of Dylan's Patreon. I've been subbed to Dylan's Patreon for over 2 years now. Yeah. So I got a bunch of his stuff, some motion VFX stuff. I bought M Tracker 3D, but I don't know why it's not working. And this is before they went all design studio. Brad West, his motion blur is insane, and he's even got his motion what is it? Is it Pro Animate? I think it's called. I could have that wrong. Yeah, Pro Animate, Brad West. Brad West makes some cool stuff. I got Brad Effects' power tools. Yeah, so I use a lot of stuff. Let's see. AI for creators is getting crazy. I did a video for a high gen recently. Dope. Wow, what a coincidence. It's pretty wild for you both. Yeah, that was crazy. We laugh. We still tell that story. It's so funny. I love DaVinci, but some things are easier on Final Cut and vice versa. That's the thing. Like, but Lead and Iron, I think, because like you're not newer at a video editing, but you are, but you're not, but you are. Like, I think the fact that, mind you, I'm still learning how to be a good editor. And so this is literally what I was about to say. So I think the fact that DaVinci just throws up all of the most advanced stuff at you and kind of, that's what I've been led to believe. Like you can do some simple stuff, but it kind of just throws all of the heavy stuff at you. If you can navigate that, once you get into it, it's a joke. Apparently it's really, really, really good. I'm just pot committed. You know, like maybe it was the only piece of gear acquisition syndrome that made sense. We use some of the same plugins. I had to go for the Motion VFX subscription because of the caption feature. You know, I was gonna bring this up. You know what I use? I hope he updates it. He figured out how to do single captions, stupid raisins. Yeah, the plugin's interesting, but it's got some weird XML workaround stuff. That is the annoying thing about captions on Final Cut. I think that when they eventually do captions, people aren't going to care anymore because Apple's just molasses slow. Let me see if Dylan answered. Probably not. Dylan, you're making my point. You didn't answer. Gotta run now. How do we connect outside of YouTube? IG? Yes, we can. So if you just add at TechMixer on Instagram, I will, we'll connect that way. So TechMixer. So it's TechMixer with no E before the R. I just complicated it. You can see my channel name. It's the same name there. But yeah, no, Michael Cunningham, great talking to you. Yeah, let's there's the Twitch again. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a Caribbean West Indian thing. Who knows? I don't know what this Twitch is about, but yeah, let's connect and then let's get you in on some of these calls. What's the time difference in Trinidad? I don't know because I'm quarter Trini. That's so stupid. My friends and I used to laugh about that, how I was quarter Trini because of my grandfather. 6 people watching and 3 people commenting. Well, 2 mainly, and then, and then Mark. Mark, switch to Final Cut 10 for the love of God. See? I'm not crazy. Other people use it too that aren't Lead and Iron. It's 4:25 here. Okay, so you're only an hour ahead. Okay, that works. Yeah, we usually get on stupid calls in the evening. Yeah, I just followed you on IG. You know what? I'm gonna follow you back, and let an iron maybe join us. Join us. Join us. Join us. I'm an idiot. Okay, I followed you back. Okay, dope. All right, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely stay in touch. Yeah, look, Lead and Iron, check this out. Your your real just and Michael Cunningham's texting me. Nice. Yeah, your reel just showed up. There you go. Let's give Lead and Iron some love. Let's go. Which is better, DaVinci or Final Cut Pro? That is coming from King of the Creek. All right, so that is going to be a hard question to answer without bias, but Lead and Iron and Michael Cunningham, I know you're taking off, so you're probably not going to answer. So maybe Lead and Iron can answer from his perspective. It depends on what you're doing. I'm biased to Final Cut Pro, Final Cut 12. I don't know what Apple does with Apple doesn't know how to count, but that's a topic for another day. I like Final Cut because I got into it. DaVinci Cut Pro, yes, Lead and Iron, exactly. DaVinci Cut Pro. I think DaVinci is good if you're gonna be doing a lot of color grading stuff. Final Cut is useless for color grading. I'm going to be honest. Like, I may have designed like what you're looking at right now and the videos on my channel. Yes, I designed that LUT in Final Cut, but I bought Color Finale Pro. I bought a year license and then just used it to make the LUT. And then I put the LUT into my Atomos monitor, and that's what I'm sending to the Cam Link, which is going to OBS. So don't assume you can do good color in Final Cut, because it can do like basic things, but it's nowhere close to DaVinci Resolve. You have to buy plugins, which is kind of stupid. Yeah, so Lead and Iron says, I absolutely love DaVinci and it would be hard for me to leave. It's so robust. Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, depending on your workflow, if you're just doing like quick edits of things and you don't need like the robustness of a DaVinci, like what it offers, Final Cut is amazing. It's the fastest editor, and it's not just me saying that. A lot of people say that. But is it the best? I don't know. I'm not as much as I'm biased to certain things, I can't definitively say that Final Cut's better, because there are things that other people have found better utility in. In the DJ world, I'm gonna use this example. In the DJ world, everybody uses Serato DJ Pro, or whatever iteration they feel like using. And there was this running joke about people who use this software called Virtual DJ because like it was free, and then the interface was kind of clunky, whatever. But the thing with Virtual DJ is it allowed you to import like XML. And I've said this to people who are like, oh, you're like, people would in the DJ world, oh, well, you're not a good DJ, you use Virtual DJ. And it's like, I was a very good DJ when I was like out playing all the time. And I was told, like, I was on the radio and all this stuff, but like people would be like, yo, you're insane. And I'm like, you understand that there are people on Virtual DJ that could eat my effing lunch because Virtual DJ has the ability to be so powerful. So Final Cut might be known as the fastest editor, but DaVinci is more robust. But DaVinci's harder to get into. I think the barrier to entry is a little higher in terms of skill. But yeah, I don't know. I really wish I could answer that. I don't know. Interesting question though. Yeah, and like in the way that Lead and Iron saying that he can't leave DaVinci, that it's so robust. It's for me with Final Cut is I have purchased so many stupid plugins for Final Cut that if I leave, I'm going to have to rebuy them. Some of them come with the DaVinci license, some don't. By the way, off topic, sort of. How's my autofocus right now, Lead and Iron? I can see it's tripping out right now. Move my hand, my face should come back in. I moved the autofocus box up. I had a problem with a video recently after a live stream, and I'm wondering if there's something wrong with my camera. But I should have asked Michael Cunningham that, because he said he was on Lumix. Damn it. Yeah, I'll answer him shortly. Maybe when I get off the stream. But yeah, King of the Creek. If you listen to that whole diatribe, yeah, it didn't answer anything. I'm so sorry. Um, yeah, let's see. So that's cool. Lead and Iron and I made a connection with Michael Cunningham. Canon R6 Mark III mirrorless camera body or Sony Alpha A7R5 mirrorless for live streaming. I don't see pulsing or anything. Lead and Iron, watch this. Look. This is what happened before. What happened was when I started the stream, I checked my autofocus and it was set to the middle. So when my hands were here, it was like pulsing in my latest video. The reason I bring all this up now, the reason I continued on the autofocus conversation. You answered, I am going Final Cut Pro. Okay. Are you going Final Cut Pro Creator Studio or are you going to buy it outright? Because the education discount that used to bundle the 5 products is gone. So now you can only get Creator Studio or you can buy the program outright for a one-time fee. But the one-time fee doesn't come with some of the extras, but you don't even know if you need the extras in Creator Studio. The whole shit's confusing. Okay, so I can't answer your live streaming question because I don't shoot either of those cameras. I know Lead and Iron uses an FX30. I don't know if the A7R5 has heat issues. I've heard in the past that Canon had heat issues. You're better checking Gerald Undun's videos on the R6 Mark III. I think he has a video on the R6 Mark III. He measures things like live streaming. Your real thing for live streaming is going to be if your camera overheats. I have an Apple Studio M3. Yeah, that's a powerful machine. Yeah, it's fine. I'm assuming M3 Max then, if it's a Mac Studio. Yeah, because the lowest they make in the Mac Studio is the Max variant, and then you can get the Ultra. I want a Mac Studio. I have no need for it. I have an M4 Max MacBook Pro in my studio right now. Story for another day. I got an M3 Max right here, which is what I'm live streaming on right now. This is the computer I carry around everywhere. Even though I have an M4 Max, I will say the M3 Max is the best computer I've ever had. Like, ever. It's incredible. Yeah, that part, and the higher end Sonys don't like dummy batteries. Yeah, so that's the other problem with some of the Sonys is they will do a firmware. Oh, the other thing with some of the Sonys that I've heard is your lens selection gets weird. Like, yes, you might be on E-mount, but some lenses will only let you shoot. Like, some of the Sigma lenses only allow 15 frames a second, but I think that's photo, like burst photo. Like, if you use third-party lenses, you don't necessarily get native autofocus performance. Yeah, I'm on Lumix. Like, I use the S5 II. That's what you're looking at right now. And then I have a second one here, which, yeah, we talked about this earlier. L-mount doesn't have a lot of lens choice, but the autofocus is typically good unless you do a 2-hour live stream and then film a video right after, and then the phase detect just goes crazy. Canon or Sony? I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't use either. So, yeah. I would say Sony, except if you need to use a dummy battery, you have to get Sony's dummy battery. And also, that's kind of a ubiquitous question because I don't know. And for me, it's ubiquitous because I don't, or nebulous, not ubiquitous, nebulous question because I don't know which of those cameras overheats. I don't know how their 4K output is. Sony also doesn't like the off-brand batteries as well. I have the small rig batteries that my FX30 won't use safely. Yeah, so I'm always see, ever since I got these are the same batteries here. Let me let's go overhead. I got a GH5 in manual focus as my overhead. So here, let's zoom in. Yeah, so this is the small rig USB-C battery. And these are cool. Like, these are very, very cool. The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous about using them is if I do a camera firmware update on the S5 II, am I going to lose the ability to use those batteries? Because I have like 6 of them. And yeah. So I'm just watching the replay of the overhead camera because I never usually zoom it in like that. And hey, it looked decent minus the swinging, but that doesn't look bad. Yeah, so again, King of the Creek, I don't know. And you might have to do a little more research on that. You're going to have to figure out, okay, if you're going to use a live streaming camera, is it going to live in perpetuity? Because those cameras that you're naming, if I had to guess, if you're not going to be taking them out all the time, if they're just going to live in your studio, they might be overkill. You might be better with something like, I don't know, a ZVE1 or I don't know, Sony. I don't. I'm the worst person to ask. The FX30 is probably your best bet. As long as you, I don't know, lead and iron. Do you have heat problems with your FX30? I've heard people say like I know Eamon on PC, he uses he has an A6700. I think he has to keep the battery door open, otherwise it'll overheat. But that's like on the, it's not the higher end cameras, it's the lower end. But his stream quality is fantastic. So, I'm just out here trying to like make this work in some capacity. How long we been on for? An hour and 31. Not bad. Not bad. No, or me. Okay, so you don't have any problems with overheating. Okay, so yeah, there you go. You know what? Honestly, maybe Sony's your best bet. I have a Canon lens EF 24 to 70 and a Canon EF to 70 to 200. So King of the Creek, you could go Sony and just get an adapter. Like that's like the EF lenses have like I have a Sigma EF adapter for my L mount camera, and I can use the what is it, the Mark 1 of the 24 to 105 I have f4. It's a dope lens, mind you. It has lens creep. If you don't know what that is, it's like if you turn your lens, gravity affects it, so like it'll just randomly start protruding out. But I fixed that with like an O-ring, like a plumber O-ring, so that was fine. If you're outside, it might be different. Okay, so but yeah, King of the Creek, is this camera just gonna live in the studio? Because if that's the case, like the cameras you listed are probably way overkill and way over expensive. Whoa, super chat. Thank you. Dude, you have to do that. That's amazing. I did not expect a super chat. Oh man, I wish I had. See, I set this stream up quick. I don't have like emotes and all that stuff. So we're just gonna give you guys a seizure and just hit scenes like crazy. Let's go. I'm an idiot. Yeah, like save your money. Don't buy either of those cameras if they're gonna stay in studio, because that's like those cameras are like ridiculous. I'm just watching my part where I went crazy with the stream. Hey, it looked clean, cool. Yeah, just save your money. Like don't go below like a couple $1,000s. I got that in Canadian dollars, so that means you're in Canada. So my question to you is, where in Canada are you? And what kind of contents are you making? And what gives you the right? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, man, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. Thank you. What is a sweet spot to start with? Sweet spot to start with. Lead and iron, what do you think? Because honestly, I think Sony. I think you're probably, I know Canon autofocus can be finicky with the older cameras and the lower end stuff. Sony is just solid. Like I clearly have Stockholm syndrome because I bought a GH5 Mark II, which has awful autofocus, and then I was like, Lumix now has phase detect. Let's go. Lumix is pricey though for what it is. I think the lower end Lumix stuff doesn't have the phase detect autofocus, so I wouldn't even bother. And also getting their stuff to work like with a USB cable is annoying. So lead and iron. Okay, I'm down the street from you in Hamilton, Ontario. Oh, dope. Okay, awesome. Okay, so lead and iron's only regret is not going full frame. Lead and iron, you said you have the A6600. The A6600, can you get 4K out of that camera with the USB cable? Or do you need to use a capture card? Because I'm starting to, like, for King of the Creek, I'm trying to figure out, I feel like Sony E-mount is old and outdated. It's not. No, 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 no. E-mount is, if anything, E-mount is the most robust system. Um, okay, if I were you, if I had to start over and I wasn't an idiot who had Stockholm syndrome for Lumix, I would probably go maybe A66 or 6700, get an E-mount lens. Make sure you have space for it, because if it's APS-C or medium format, it's going to crop in a bit. So make sure you have like adequate space to pull the camera out. I'm wondering about the overheating. I think Lead and Iron said on the 6600, you don't get overheating problems. I'm very curious, but yeah, the E-mount's not outdated. The good thing is you could probably get, like, because E-mount has so many lenses, you could probably get a really nice E-mount lens for pretty cheap on a marketplace. You just got to look for things like fungus and stuff like that, and make sure they have their rear lens cap. Believe me, I've seen that. That's annoying. I actually bought a lens like that, but luckily I was able to test it. Okay, so you need a capture card. Well, okay, so here's the thing. Do you care if your A-cam is in 60 FPS? Because if, like, what kind of content are you going to be live streaming? Is it gaming? Is it IRL? Like, what do you if it's in studio? I'm assuming it's gaming, but I don't want to make assumptions. So, King of the Creek, what kind of content are you producing? We don't have to get super specific either if it's solitary air distribution electronic devices. OnlyFans. I'm such a moron. Where's my brain go half the time? I can't believe you sent the super chat. What the F? That's awesome. Thank you. I honestly do not rely on super chats and stuff like that. Like, I am new at this. Okay. Yeah, save your money. Don't be an idiot like me. Although maybe I wasn't an idiot because I'm getting super chats now but that also solved the problem with Elgato's Facecam Pro. I also solved that problem. Oh, that's another interesting option. You could just go Elgato. I've been shitting on them a lot lately. I'm aware. But the only thing, okay, Lead and Iron, but you have to use Camera Hub, right? Is that the situation? Do you have to use Camera Hub to use? I'm assuming you do. Camera Hub is so weird. But again, I can't speak on Elgato's Camera Hub because I don't use Elgato cameras. God, I wish it would let me stream low latency at 4K. Yeah. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for the chat to populate here. 5 people watching. I feel E-mount is small compared to Canon or Nikon flange is bigger than Sony. Okay, so Sony just has a better selection of lenses. And Sony autofocus is, like, unmatched. That, like, look, I'm using autofocus now with the Lumix. Like, look, if I go like this, my hand should get in focus. If I take my phone and I go like this, my phone should get in focus, right? This is a 50 millimeter 1.8. And if I come back, it comes back. That's all nice and good. But this camera, if you touch the screen, and I don't know how to disable it. I have looked. The touch focus thing you can't disable. And man, it ruined me in my last video I posted. That was very annoying because I did a stream like this and I see it just did it right there when I put my hand like that. It's doing it right now because my hand's so high. Normally when I talk, my hands are down here and yeah. I did a 2.5 hour live stream this past Sunday. And I went to record the video and I didn't even touch the camera. I only plugged in my mic and I hit record on my monitor, which is off camera over here. And if you watch that video, for the 70 people that have watched that video, that That video, you can see the autofocus is going crazy. It was so bad, I pinned a comment apologizing for it. Okay, so OBS Studio and or Ecamm Live or StreamYard for streaming. Oh, so you're like new. Okay, my advice, do not spend a ton of money to start. And I know that sounds like such shit advice coming from someone using like a $4,000 camera. I'm an idiot. Let me make that abundantly clear. I was stupid. But the biggest thing, and you're not going to understand it until this happens to you. So I'm trying to save you this. And I think Lead and Iron would agree. One of the most, I was impressed by your bell fiber video. Oh, thanks. I use OBS. I'm more robust. It's more robust. Sorry, Lead and Iron. Didn't mean to misrepresent you there. I think Lead and Iron would agree that if you spend a lot of money on your camera, learning a camera, if you've never learned a camera before, is a nightmare. It could be a friggin' nightmare. It's so bad. Like, if you've never learned a camera, like when you learn about log profiles and ISO and shutter speed and like all that white balance and all that stuff, right? OBS, if you're new, or Ecamm or any of these software, they have their own levels of complexity depending on the way you choose to set it up and how you're doing it, and having Stream Deck and all that stuff. Like it can be very complicated. And the thing that I want you to understand is if you spend a lot of money on a camera, you're going to hit buyer's remorse after your return window has passed for your camera, and then you're stuck with it. And I also understand the premise of buy it once, buy it right. I am a proponent of that. I tend to do that. But sometimes that adage doesn't work. Because here's the thing, if you buy like a good A67 or 6600, providing that it fits your needs to start out, which is a very good starting camera. A lot of people just set up their phone and do some kind of thing. I'll get to the comments in a sec. I just want to finish my thought here. But if you start with like a camera like that and you learn on that, and then you decide as you monetize, as you grow, to upgrade, well, one, you're not going to have the buyer's remorse, and two, the camera that I had buyer's remorse for is now my overhead camera, and I think it looks fairly good. I need to figure out like a better solution for this wavelength. I gotta get an extension cord or something for USB. But yeah, that's my advice, is like stick lower. Like don't go like balls to the wall, throw all your money at the camera. Honestly, and I know a lot of creators say this and it sounds so cliche, lighting is more important. In fact, I would implore you to go on Amazon and buy like a $50 light. Okay? Just and if not that I'm condoning this, but buy a light and return it after. Okay? So you get a $50 light, like one of those like big soft boxes, like a newer, whatever. You get one of those, put it in the corner. Learn how to light your face with your phone. Don't even buy a camera yet. Start with that. You will be shocked if your phone can shoot 4K. You will be shocked at how good you can make that look. Then once you understand lighting, then start thinking about your camera. But the good thing is that you don't have to buy like a multi-$1,000 camera. You could probably find something dope on like Marketplace or Kijiji or whatever other marketplace you choose to. Let's see. I have also, if you hate creating and spend so much money. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you spend all this money and then you end up hating the creation process, that sucks. I'll be honest, like I wasn't posting for a while and there were moments where I was debating selling stuff at a loss. Right? But I made some decisions, and again, the conversation I was having earlier about Nick and seeing what he's doing inspired me, and it kind of reignited everything for me. I'm going to talk about let me read your comment first, actually. I have Bell Fiber in Hamilton and Rogers Fiber in Mississauga and Toronto. Oh, okay. Rogers Fiber, what speed are you on? And you're asking full frame or APS-C? Yeah, Lead and Iron says full frame. I regret not getting full frame. There are two things about full frame that are amazing. You don't have to do the conversion. So let me give you an example. This is an S5 too, but this is a full frame camera. But pretend for a second this was APS-C. Well, once you understand the focal length side of things, so on the top, you're going to see this number. This is a zoom lens, which can do 28 millimeter to 200. The autofocus on this thing is trash, so let's just punch that in. Yeah, so 28 to 200. Now, 28 millimeter is basically a reflection of the width of your shot, okay? So like this 28, if I'm holding the camera like this, don't hold it by the lens mount like me, the moron. But if you're like, sorry, I'm just trying to see, did that go in focus? It did, let's go. So if you're holding the camera like this and you have a higher number in your focal length, so the number in this case was 28. The higher the number, the less wide that is. The lower the number, the more wide you get. But where it gets confusing when you're in APS-C is, I believe, lead and iron, is it 1.5? I think you have to multiply that number by 1.5 to get the APS-C number. That's the first problem. So if you have a 20 millimeter lens, right, it would become like a 35? I don't know. I can't math right now. This light's killing me. And by the way, if you think this shot looks good, majority of it is because yes, part of it's the camera. See, my autofocus, gonna snap. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure this out. I have a dome light right here, right? And I have it aimed the specific way, but the reason the lighting in here looks pretty balanced is I have two side lights that are giving me like that RGB business. I've got like another light at the bottom down here. I can't point. I've got the lamp, which helps. You can kind of see the lantern in the mirror that's behind there. The mirror is a story for another day. And then the other secret sauce is you can't see it on camera right now, but I have a light over here. You can see like the reflection off my head. That's a rim light that gives definition, right? More of what you need is good lighting. It's not about the camera. And that's the first thing. The second thing, which relates to lighting, is full frame is better in low light because the sensor is bigger. It can take more light in and use that towards your image, so you don't get as much noise when you're in a difficult lighting situation, right? Because that's something else you have to consider. If you're going to be live streaming at home, like if your desk is against the wall, you need to make sure you have room for your light. You got to make sure that your camera's far enough back. So the full frame is a little more expensive, but if you do have room to push the camera back, then APS-C might be good. Just get a good light. But again, as Lead and Iron said, like I'm spoiled. I'm in full frame land. This GH5 is micro four thirds, so the crop factor, like the amount you have to multiply, is even higher. So like a 20 millimeter would be like I think it's almost 40 millimeter. Like, so there's not really much width. It's a complicated subject. I have a Canon EF 24-70 and a Canon EF 70-200 old. I can get an adapter from REF. That's how I was leaning towards Canon, since Canon is more like Apple product. It just works. I don't know if I agree with that. There are people complaining about some of the newer Canon systems, and some of the software updates I've heard are weird. You should check out Gerald on Dun's channel. You might be better selling those lenses and just going Sony. And just going lower end Sony. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's like rooted in some high level of truth. What about spec? Asking for my friend Horia. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I just swore on stream. Thanks, Mark. Spec is an audio thing. For those who are wondering what that was about, it was about lossless audio and whether or not DJs should give a crap about it. It's a whole thing. I'm not putting that video on my channel, Mark. That's not happening. Lead and Iron. I feel Canon is made for photography first, video, and second, while Sony is more video first. I agree with that. Sony Alpha 4 full frame. Alpha 7 4. These are overkill cameras, King of the Creek. I don't think you need to spend that kind of money. I mean, What is the A7 IV go for? The A7 IV is the competitor to this camera. The S5 II, I think this is still going for like $2,600, like today, and this camera is from like 2022. Don't do it. Or 2023 or 2022. Either way, it's a couple years old at this point. Like, don't do it. Don't spend over. If I were you, and this is my opinion, you're starting out, don't spend over $1,500, and even $1,500 is excessive. Like, oh yeah, and lead and iron, we're talking Canadian dollars, so that's like $12 US. Mark knows, he just went to the bank. Yeah, A7 IV full frame. What does that go for? Let's find out. Let me just close this window. I'm going to switch to my desktop eventually. There we go. I'm going to open Firefox, public. All right, so A7 IV. In Canada, oh my God. $3,000? No. Stay away from that. Lowest cost Sony full frame cameras. I'm just curious. And no, don't give me some AI. We're not even going to read that. Okay, so from a year ago. At $800, I would recommend. Yeah, A7 III would be good. Find a good A7R. A7R2 with a basic lens. Yeah, you don't want to spend that amount of money and then get like super angry. You can get a nice used A7 III. Hang on. So just out of curiosity, A7 III Sony. A7S III is, God, it's still, that's insane. That camera was so overpowered. Oh, because I'm an idiot. I Googled A7S III. Let's see. Used camera, 90-day warranty, A7 III body. Yeah, look at this. So the A7 III body at Henry's. And Henry's is kind of a ripoff, but sorry to my friends who work at Henry's. Not that you're watching this. If you are. Yeah, $16.99. That is more palatable. And I mean, if you were to buy from a big box store, you could always get like an extended warranty. Although, if you're in Hamilton, I would say just drive to London and go to Camera Canada. Not sponsored. They're just really dope to deal with. I've had nothing but fantastic experiences with them. Yeah, so I would say A7 III is probably where that's like, it's a little more expensive than like I would like to recommend, but like, yeah, A7 III makes a lot of sense. That would be, and the other thing is that as you grow as a channel, like if you're successful, because here's the other thing. One side of this creator journey is the technical stuff. But then you have to, if you don't already know SEO and search engine optimization is kind of dead in its own right. So it's really, you're going to spend more time working on thumbnails, making things clickable, making things engaging. If you're writing videos, if you're doing YouTube content, if you're streaming, being like charismatic on stream that people actually want to stay and like, you know, vibe with you, right? I've got 5 people watching, and now the ratio to chat to viewers watching makes more sense because like it wasn't great. But that, like, you have to consider that that's a whole other exhausting, and I mean exhausting wormhole you're going to go down. Like, you know, like I talked to Mark, who's in the chat. I talk to him like 3, 4, 12 times a day. And I will mention snippets of this, but to the degree that I am doing this research, it's an obsession. Not because I want to get millions of views and, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's that because I want to make sure that my quality is good, my content is of high value, and that I'm reaching the right people. I don't want to reach everybody. I want to reach the right people. I want to reach the people that are into this type of content. That's That's the most important thing. So, yeah, just don't blow a ton of money on something that could be a friction point later and make you have serious buyer's remorse. And I know that a lot of creators say that, and you kind of think to yourself, well, it's easier for you to say. You've got 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers or whatever the number is. It's easy to say that, oh, well, you shouldn't start with a big thing. Trust me, I'm saying this from a very low, like, what do I have? 3,400 subs. Like, I'm saying it from this standpoint. Nobody talks about the numbers from. Everybody talks from getting to 1,000 subscribers about getting monetized, right? But nobody talks about that journey from 1,000 beyond, right? Like they might say, oh yeah, my path to 100,000, but they don't talk about these like potentials of like being like, I want to sell all my equipment and just quit the YouTube thing. It would be way less taxing mentally. So King of the Creek, I know that was very long-winded. I feel so bad that you sent the super chat. I appreciate it a lot. Like, man, that's crazy. That's my first super chat on a live stream. Man, I should spend that $50 on sending you a plaque for being the first super chat on my stream. Although then I would be out $25 because YouTube takes like half. So get F, Sean. Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. Yeah. I'm gonna say something funny again about Valentine's Day and the no heart sweater. There's a burger joint nearby called Rudy. They popped up around Ontario, Canada, and they're doing a thing today. I heard I think it's. I don't quote me on this, but I think it's like $4 burgers, and I don't even know if it's all of them. I might have just doxed where I lived. Whatever. But yeah, they're doing $4 burgers, so I might pop down and see how bad that lineup is. Maybe grab one for dinner or something. I don't know yet. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, this wasn't like the most populated stream, but this was fun. I'm probably gonna jump off soon. Is kind of what I'm alluding to. Um, I don't think Mark stayed in. I know Mark. He probably left for a bit and just came back. He's like, oh my god, he's still talking. So yeah, Lead and Iron, thank you so much for keeping the dream alive. Michael Cunningham, who's not here, thank you so much. King of the Creek, appreciate it. And also, and he or she didn't comment after, was the one who said, oh, Duke Seb. Yeah, I don't know if you're still here, but yeah. Did you comment something else? Did I miss it? Nope. Maybe just lurked or maybe had to go. Stupid people having lives. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. I want to thank all of you for jumping in. It wasn't a lot of people, but that doesn't matter. You know what? At least I got to have an engaging conversation and with people who want to talk about the things that this channel is focused on. And I wish King of the Creek, I honestly wish I had more better information for you. The only good thing I can tell you that I think was of value, I'm refreshing the chat in case YouTube like hallucinated. Yeah, it didn't. Okay, so nobody's watching. Womp womp. Honestly, King of the Creek, I hope that there was value in hearing just not to spend a lot of money. Please don't listen. I'm telling you. Okay, wait, before I go, King of the Creek, what phone do you have? I see that you're saying thank you, but what phone do you have? And I'm not, this isn't a pathway for me telling you to start creating with your phone. That's not where I'm going with this at all. What phone are you using? Because if you're using a phone that's capable of shooting good video, I implore you, I absolutely implore you, buy a light and play with that light, like with different places in your, like in a setup. It doesn't even have to be like a YouTube setup. Just do test shots. Just like set up your phone, like look at this. Hang on. Here, we're going to do this quick. 17 Pro Max. Okay. This is a 16 Pro Max. And just for the sake of it, here, we're going to do this. I'm going to take a video. Okay. So this is a fairly decent setup. So I'm going to actually just kind of talk to camera like this. Oh, now you can see the light behind me. Yeah. Right. And you can see the quality is pretty good. Okay. So now what we're going to do, okay, we are going to airdrop this video to my iPad. Right. If I can figure out how to do so. Waiting for the iPad. The airdrop started. Okay, I'm gonna move this camera out of the way for a moment. And I'm not gonna play the audio from the iPad. In fact, yeah, the audio's off. Okay. So again, this was shot with the front camera. Okay. This is the front camera. Let's switch over to the iPad. Okay. I don't know how well this is coming out on stream. And here's the joke is I probably have to turn the light down on my face right now. But yeah, I think honestly, learn with your phone. You don't have to you don't have to sit there and make a set right now to test. I'm telling you this so that you can make qualified purchasing decisions about the camera. Because if your 17 Pro Max can do a good job in terms of what the hell did my iPad do? One moment, please. YouTube just crashed. That's awesome. There we go. Yeah. So if you can use your iPhone just to test, yeah, that's what I mean. That was pretty good. iPhone 16 Pro Max or $2,400 without the lens camera just to learn the fundamentals. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, if you could learn the fundamentals using your phone just to learn. If I had thought of that when I was starting out, my God, this would be a very different situation. I would probably have more money in my bank account. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't have made some of the decisions that I made. Like, hold on. I'm going to do a BRB. Stay here for a second. I want to show you one more thing. One moment. Okay, I'm going to show you a bad purchasing decision right now. Look at the size of this softbox. This thing is friggin' huge. I used it on a video shoot with some friends that we did back in October, but October. It is now, we're halfway through February. I've realized that I'm using like a lantern softbox. Because the lantern, it has better fall off. That's the thing is, I would rather, instead of you spending all this money on a camera, because everybody makes that mistake. They go and they buy this expensive camera and they're like, this looks like crap, right? Let me show you the lantern. Hang on, I'm going to do the BRB thing again. One moment, please. Okay, so what model of light? Okay, I was going to get to that. So this right here is an Amaran 200D. I'm going to put this down for a moment because, don't fall, and you fell anyway, whatever. Desktop, let's pull this up. Okay, let's reopen Firefox, public. All right, so if I were to type in Amaran 200D, okay. So this is on Amazon in Canadian dollars, I'm going to assume. Yeah, you can get a 200D for like $308. Right? Is it a bicolor light? Why would you work? Click, there we go. Yeah, so 300D, this is a output bones mount. I think this is just 5600K. Like, this is just one type of light. This is a great light though, okay? Now, you can buy that light. But here's the thing that's I'm gonna implore. Let me pull this light back in. One moment. Okay, so this is a Bowens Mountain light. This light can take that same massive softbox that I just showed you. What I'm using right now is another one of these. This is a lantern, and it basically like it condenses down. It's got springs inside, and when you compress it, it opens up. It hooks. It looks complicated. It's very easy to install. I prefer these when you have space because, like, you'll notice I don't have like harsh light hitting me. It's soft because the light is evenly distributed like throughout this whole thing. So if you buy a cheap Amazon brand, like, let me find a newer softbox. Hang on. Look, as soon as I typed newer, the first thing that popped up was softbox, right? But here, let's go back to desktop. Okay. So if you were to buy something like, I'm not condoning returning stuff, but this might make sense. It's $57, right? This is how big? 12 by 6 by 11 by 6. This could actually come in handy later. Like, I wouldn't even get rid of it. You could buy one of these just to learn lighting with your phone. And then once you're done and you want to buy a better light, well, here's the thing. That light, you don't necessarily have to return it. You could be like, okay, I bought a lantern and a nice light, but I don't like this side doesn't have good fill for the side of my face. So that newer light that I just showed on screen, like this thing here, this light could make sense to put off to the side, right? So that's a good investment. I would highly recommend you pick up something like this just to learn lighting with your phone before you go thinking about a camera, because the camera can't create light from nothing. And if you figure out how to make your lighting look good on your phone, it's going to look ridiculously insane. And if it frustrates you, imagine how much more frustrated you would be if you spent $4,000 on a camera. You get what I'm saying? So before you even look at like the A7 III or like bigger camera bodies and lenses and all that stuff, I get it. You want to use what you have, but don't blow the budget because you have certain hardware. That's a trap. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but just trust me on this. Just use your phone just to learn. And then you can buy a camera after the fact. But remember something. If you buy a cheaper camera that even shoots 1080p, but you have great lighting, you're 2,000 steps ahead of the game, right? So I wouldn't worry about an expensive camera. There. That's my rant about buying expensive cameras. And everybody says buy lighting first, but nobody clarifies why. I'm showing you why. Okay, so I, again, really hope that brought you value. All right. If Lead and Iron's still here, thank you so much. King of the Creek, thank you so much for jumping in. And GVM RGB 800D with app control. Let me see. Hang on. After this, I am going to go, though. GVM. I just want to see the light. GVM RGB LED 800D. Oh, I've had these lights. The 3-pack. I actually bought this before. I'm not going to recommend them. The reason they say they have a soft diffuser, they don't. Like, so the whole reason that I brought this thing out is because you don't want like the GVM stuff. Like, it has like a diffuser. It's like a plastic piece that slides in. I have one like in a corner to try to give me a rim light. It's not even powerful enough for that. It has like a plastic diffuser that comes in with it. They're kind of flimsy, and honestly, when you do shine a light on your face, even with that hard diffuser thing, it will hotspot off. You'll look like really crazy reflections coming off your face. Like, it's not flattering at all. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Lead and Iron's still here. Yeah. But yeah, don't buy the GVM. Honestly, like, I would get like again, let me go back to the link. I'm just going to show you this quick, and I'm going to put it in the chat. Again, this light that I'm showing you is not the light that you should stick with necessarily to start your channel. But I definitely think that this is a good light to learn with using your phone. And then you can upgrade to something with the Bowens mount like an Amaran. And Amaran is such a good company in terms of cost per performance, because when you start looking at lights, like real like lights that like professionals are using, holy shit, that gets expensive. Like it gets pretty wild. And Amaran is such a good budget comparative to like the crazy Aperture stuff. Amaran is like the budget version of Aperture. Same company. Yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, here, let me get the link for you to that. I'm not signed into iCloud on this machine, but I might be able to make this work. Let me bear with me one moment. I just got to figure out how to get AirDrop to allow. Right click. Why would you let me share? Why would that be a thing? Okay, Apple kills me. One moment. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put it in a note, paste it, and then I'm going to share the note to the iPad. Accept it. All this to send a link. Like, Apple is so cohesive and yet so, like, hilarious. Is this it? Yes, it is. Okay. Let me copy that. Okay. No, I've never opened apps or notes on this iPad, so it's like super annoying. So it's like bugging me like crazy. All right, so this is a good light. Yeah, I wouldn't bother with the GVM. Again, but I'm telling you that you're not going to let me paste the link in my own chat. Okay, can I make a short link at least? Like, come on. Open the Amazon app. Oh my god, it's going to make me do this. I hate computers so much. And yet I have a tech channel. Okay. Copy. Let's try this. Can I paste the link in the YouTube chat? If that doesn't work, then I don't know. Let's see. That's not working. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to put the name of it. The good thing with the one I'm sending you as well is it's also an RGB light apparently. So that's promising. So if you copy and paste this exactly, it should come up. King of the Creek. I hope that helps. Okay. All right. For like the third time, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you all, including Mark, asking about his friend Horia. I have opinions about that. Thank you so much for everybody who jumped in on the chat. Big shout out to Lead and Iron for keeping the dream alive, even though he was the reason that people weren't jumping in on stream. Aperture, Amaran, bicolor, or RGB. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to answer, and then I really got to go. If you're talking about your face being on camera, don't buy an RGB light. Just buy a bicolor light. RGB, like the one I sent you, is dope to keep, like, learn with that light, but then keep it for later because you can use it as part of your background set. Like it'll be like a small like accessory to what's going on. It's a good tool for learning, but it's good to keep it to use it in part of your background. It's not something you're probably going to want to use as your main light, or you might be able to, depending on how much you learn about lighting, because what the hell do I know? But yeah, I would say save your money on RGB. RGB is good for like your practicals. When I say practical, like it's like this lamp back here would be cool as an RGB. Like I have an RGB light down here, but like not, you don't want RGB on your face. You want a clean white light. So when you get this newer, if you go with this, set it to CCT mode and set the Kelvin to like 5600K. That sounds weird, but you'll understand it once you get the light. These are things you need to know before you even think about buying a camera. Honest truth. Honest, blunt truth. That's the bottom line. So anyway, I'm getting out of here. My name is Sean. This has been Tech Mixer. This is the part of the stream where I awkwardly end it, and it doesn't actually end when I click the stupid button, but let's see how this goes. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your Valentine's or anti-Valentine's Day, or however. If you're single, think of no heart. If you're not single, go be with your partner. I got nothing. Lead and Iron's going to go sleep in his big bed with his wife. I almost said with his big wife, which is terrible. So anyway, have a great evening. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll probably be back on at some point after this week is completed. Thanks, Mark. See you guys later. Bye. Peace. You will not be able